and refile it?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to dismiss it. I will file another case in circuit.
That's not something that's really justiciable in district court.
A hopeful girl excitedly prepares for her long-awaited first date, eagerly anticipating the possibility of a connection. But what unfolds next is a shocking turn of events that no one saw coming. In a courtroom charged with tension and anticipation, Kashante Hosamla Short Brundage takes the stand, her voice unwavering as she accuses Richard Jordan of a crime that goes far beyond a mere bad date. As the details unfold, revealing a web of deceit, manipulation, and shattered expectations, it becomes clear that this case holds more than meets the eye. Bad dates can happen. There are awful times in life. However, if you've ever had a poor date amid a terrible period in your life, you may relate to the intense anger and feeling that nothing is fair or right. When Kashante Hosamla Short Brundage's mother died away, it was undoubtedly the hardest period of her life. She was frightened and raw, but hoped that after setting up a meeting with Richard Jordan, she would be able to find comfort. Mr. Jordan felt it would be better not to appear for reasons that are never completely explained, but may have something to do with Ms. Short's history of frivolous litigation and explosive temper. The night of Ms. Short's mother's birthday, whose mother she had just lately lost, was chosen for that particular occasion. Kashante Short determined she would make Mr. Jordan pay for standing her up on the birthday of her recently departed mother. She filed a lawsuit against him for $10,000.
Answer.
If he responds and his response is a lie, it's perjury, then my documents will prove that he lied in his response.
No.
The complaint, which was first filed in 2020, just appeared before District Judge Herman Maribold Jr., who was unable to assist Short, which enraged her. The court's role is to determine whether something is legally someone's obligation, and if so, what may be done to remedy the issue, rather than necessarily deciding what is right or wrong. Some courts deal with criminal cases, while others deal with family disputes, minor financial matters, etc. She filed her claim in district court, but emotional distress is handled by a different court. Judge Marable, during a Zoom hearing with Ms. Short and Mr. Jordan, tells Short that her claim of emotional distress is
That's not something that's really justiciable in district court.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said that's not something that's justiciable in district court. That has to be brought in circuit court.
The judge asks Mr. Jordan whether he intends to defend himself in whatever court this ends up in, trying to get a sense of the issue. Jordan's response is to tell this side of the story briefly.
To be honest with you, sir, I thought this was just going to be thrown out. We had a date, one date, and nothing else after that. And now I'm being sued for $10,000. I don't really see how this is going to go any further. I think it's a waste of your time.
Bottom line is, you said it's a criminal offense, so I will send it to circuit court. Are we done here?
No, you don't understand, ma'am. You don't understand.
Are we done here? Are we done here?
Perjury is false
I know exactly what perjury means. I know what.
The judge keeps trying, Kashante keeps yelling, and Richard keeps on just sitting in silence watching this all go down.
No further proceedings shall be had after transfer until these costs or expenses are paid. If not paid within 56 days of the date of this order, this case shall be dismissed by the court to which it was.
A Karen who is well known for her outlandish conduct suddenly finds herself in court facing allegations of narcotics possession. However, what comes after this? Oh boy, I hope you fastened your seatbelts because you're in for a crazy journey. After giving a judge the finger at a bond hearing in Florida, a lady was sentenced to 30 days in jail as a result of her actions. Penelope Soto, who was just 18 years old at the time, was found guilty of contempt of court after she insulted Miami-Dade Circuit Judge George Rodriguez Chomat. As a result, she was sentenced to nearly a month in prison. Because Soto had been arrested for unlawfully carrying Xanax, Rodriguez Chomat's decision to raise her bail from $5,000 to $10,000 infuriated her. Soto had been held in custody. However, until Soto gave Rodriguez Chomat the middle finger salute, the two of them were not quite on the same page. When the judge was being questioned earlier in the session by Soto about the worth of her diamonds, Soto responded by making fun of the judge.
It's not a joke, you know. We are not in a club now.
Okay, but it's
well, you see, we are not in a club. Be serious about it.
I'm serious about it.
You just made me laugh. I can see you're serious, all right.
You just made me laugh. I apologize.
It's all right. How much is your jewelry worth?
It's worth a lot of money.
Like what?
Like Rick Ross.
Huh?
It's worth money.
Have you had any kind of drugs in the last 24 hours?
Actually, no.
Actually, no?
Soto's bail was set at $5,000, and Rodriguez Chomat bade her farewell with a sarcastic bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
To Soto's utter consternation, the enraged judge then ordered her to return to the witness stand and promptly increased her bond to $10,000.
Come back, ma'am. Come back. Count one will be 10,000.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Adios.
At that time, Soto expressed his displeasure with Rodriguez Chomat by giving him the middle finger and uttering an expletive. The judge then imposed Soto a sentence of 30 days in jail for his offense. When Soto apologized to Rodriguez Chomat for insulting him, she did so with a serious expression on her face. As she expressed her regret, she stood in close proximity to her family members and counsel.
Well, my behavior was very irrational. And I apologize not only to the court and you, but to my family.
Her apologies were accepted by Rodriguez Chomat, and he vacated the 30-day contempt sentence he had given her when she had initially appeared before him on a charge of having Xanax. The case had been brought against her because she was found in possession of the drug. The fact that this was her first offense, that she admitted to misusing Xanax, that she was determined to overcome her addiction by enrolling in a drug treatment program, and that she expressed regret were some of the arguments he cited for reducing the severity of the contempt sanction. Rodriguez Chomat believes that Soto should not be held fully accountable for the conduct that she took.
I should not even hold you as totally responsible. We live in a society where if you listen to music, every other word is a profanity. We live in a society where young people like you feel that it's perfectly okay to call all kind of names to their teachers and their professors and their friends, and they feel that's okay. That's like, hi, good morning. And we live in a society where police officers in particular are abused on a daily basis, mostly by young people who believe that it is okay to call policemen all kind of names. That's totally unacceptable.
In addition, Soto's attorney offered a public apology on her client's behalf and said that her client had taken alcohol and drugs before acting out in court. Soto's behavior in court was reportedly influenced by these factors. According to the arrest complaint, the authorities seized Soto after she allegedly acknowledged to being on Xanax bars, and after 3 green baggies containing Xanax were found in her purse. Soto cut her off in the middle of her apologies as she was about to tear up.
Don't cry, just don't cry, I'm not a monster. I know I make you laugh, but it's all right. Don't cry, I'm not a monster. Go ahead, tell me.
And I normally don't act like that. So...
Let me ask you a third question. Did you use Xanax? Did you take any Xanax Sunday?
yes, I did.
How many?
2.
2?
The judge told Soto he hoped she had learned several lessons.
I hope that you have learned a couple of lessons. Lesson number 1 is that drugs can put you in a very difficult situation. It is because of your use of Xanax, which I understand today is a body drug, can put you, convert you, make you a felon, a convicted felon. It can put you in county jail like you have been.
As hearing concluded, the judge wished Soto well.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Ms. Soto. I really do hope that you learn your lesson.
A somber courtroom, tense and emotional as the family of a victim comes to hear the reading of a letter that was written from the victim's heart. However, in the middle of the solemn environment, something unimaginable takes place. While sitting in the gallery, the convicted criminal's mother can be seen bursting into fits of laughing. Do you have any idea how many people were taken aback and how loud their gasps of amazement were? Get ready for a tale that tests the limits of empathy, investigates the concept of justice, and delves into the effects that one's actions have on others. A judge in Detroit sent the mother of a drunk driver to jail after she laughed during a victim's testimony about the man her daughter murdered while driving intoxicated. The judge ordered the woman out of the courtroom and into the slammer for her behavior. A sentencing hearing was abruptly halted on an emotional day in court by Judge Kiana Lillard, who did so because she thought that persons in the back row of the chamber were acting inappropriately. In the end, Amanda Kosel was given a sentence that ranged from 3 to 15 years in jail for causing a fatal accident with her drunk driving this past summer in Redford Township. Kosel, who was 25 years old at the time of the accident on June 23, acknowledged that she had been drinking before driving her car over the center line of Beach Daly Road near Plymouth Road. She collided head-on with an SUV, causing the death of Jerome Zerker, who was 31 years old, and badly wounding Brittany Johnson, who was also 31 years old. Kosel entered a guilty plea for driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs that resulted in death last year. Another charge of driving a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs that caused significant harm was dropped. While the judge was reading the impact statements, she started crying in court. However, Lillard saw the responses of some of her relatives, and she found it to be distracting when she presided over the case. The judge, Helena Lillard, was having none of it and yelled at the boyfriend, referring to him as a clown. She then ordered the man to leave the room.
You can go too. Whoever can sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member, this is a court of law. You cannot come down to the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice and act any way you want to act, because if you don't know how to act, you can go to jail. Ma'am, you are being taken into custody for criminal contempt. Your disruptive and disrespectful behavior disrupted today's proceedings, and you, ma'am, are going to the Wayne County Jail for 93 days for direct criminal contempt. Anybody else want to go? Try it.
She then went on to speak to the other members of the family who were still seated in the audience.
These are very serious matters, and I understand you all are upset because your loved one is going to prison, but guess what? She's going to prison for the choices that she made.
After spending the night behind bars, Donna sobbed her apology before the judge the next morning.
Yes, I deeply apologize for what I did. I was under a lot of stress. And I deeply apologize for what I did in your court. I just needed to get out. And it's been very hard for me this year, and I know for the other family, and I'm so sorry for what I did, and I know it was wrong, and I apologize.
So I will modify your sentence for direct criminal contempt from 93 days to 1 day with credit for time served, and you should be released today.
God bless you.
Following the fatal accident that occurred in the summer of 2017, Donna's daughter was given a jail term ranging from 3 to 15 years. She testified that she had been drinking when her vehicle crossed the center line and collided head-on with an SUV, which resulted in the death of Zerker and serious injuries to Brittany Johnson, who was also a passenger in the vehicle at the time.
It'll be the sentence of this court that you will serve 3 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. If there's nothing further, that concludes this matter.